Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, kereme, herve, and harapan. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture that we'll be discussing that STEM is a part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, Sean McLaughlin, a freelance digital learning coach dedicated to fostering a culture of innovation in education and empowering others to learn and grow. As a content writer at Insight to Education, our guest is at the forefront of advancing digital learning, developing content that helps educators and learners embrace digital best practices. Committed to creativity and innovation, he ensures education remains accessible and relevant in a rapidly evolving world. In addition to his role at Insight to Execution, he is an independent affiliate who guides professionals towards Microsoft certification. Leveraging his expertise in artificial intelligence and has significantly enhanced the profile of the Microsoft Certified Coach program, demonstrating his dedication to nurturing an environment of innovation and education excellence. I'm honored to have Sean with us today, who is a true advocate for digital learning and innovation. So, how are you doing today, Sean?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, Namya. And you can almost say your profile will be exactly the same, I reckon, like such an advocate for advancing technology and good practices in education. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. So, before we begin, I would like to know if you could share about your journey and what inspired you to become a Microsoft Certified Coach cohort in collaboration with Insight to Execution.
Yeah, thank you, Namya. So when I first got into education, it was a big learning curve for me, my first year in education. And I found to leverage and help, I use technology. And so this was prior to when everyone had to use technology. But it really helped with my classes. And and then as sort of technology use increased, and then obviously during the time we all had to use technology when we were all at home, really sort of got involved with the different communities, and I kind of really pushed myself actually to learn different technologies to try and give the best quality of education to my learners. So I was involved with a lot of different communities, learning lots of different things, but I found it really empowering actually. And then the great release was attending BET and I was trying to look back for the dates. So I think it was like 2020, maybe the first one that they reopened up. And sorry I didn't get to meet you at BET, Namya. I missed the trick there, not being on that day. But yeah, when they reopened it up, and it was so empowering and to meet all the different educators and the different stands, and I really got involved more then with the communities, and I found that empowering. So, and that's kind of led me on into different communities. And then at the very first BET, I can remember talking to Becky Keane, actually, shout out to Becky, and we were talking about the ISTE standards and coaching, and at the time, that sort of making quality of education better through technology. Not all of the teachers agree with me, and I used to find that really frustrating at times. But I've since learned through coaching, it's good to sort of build relationships and not get frustrated and figure out ways through coaching to encourage other teachers to join, as we know, this empowering use of technology. So yeah, sort of meeting Becky there, and then over the years sort of building a relationship, and then eventually when they announced that they would be holding a Microsoft coach cohort, I was the first to sign up. I was like, yes, in the UK anyway, and it turned out to be an amazing experience. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so did I answer all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for answering that question. It was absolutely inspirational listening to you. And that's indeed an inspiring journey. So you initially got into education and found the first year was a significant learning curve. And technology has played a crucial role pushing you to learn different technologies to provide the best quality for your learners. And attending VET, like you said, was a pivotal experience where you learned a lot from other educators. This led you to, tying up with various communities and also discussing ISTE standards with Miss Becky Keane. And you talked about focusing upon the quality of education over the quantity, which I totally resonate with because the quality always matters over the quantity. And it's that your clear dedication to continual learning and improving education has been your driving force. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. So moving on to my next question. So how has your involvement with PLNs and communities enhanced your approach to instructional coaching?
Sorry, I just realized you're losing me on the camera a bit there, but yeah, so the same really. So when I applied to be in the MI expert community, which is one of the Microsoft communities initially, I did it off the back of one of my sort of colleagues saying, "Oh, you should apply for this," and I kind of didn't really properly look at it. And interestingly, I didn't get in that first sort of round. I had to reapply for this sort of second part of the year, and actually, I always do better when that happens to me. If I sort of have to do something that didn't quite pass the first time, I don't get down. I always sort of do better the second time. And so I ended up joining the community, and then I just really got involved and I showed up. And a bit like you, Namya, you've got this real sort of ability to bring others in and amplify other voices. I mean, you've done it 86 times now on your podcast, and and I'm similar. And and once I was in first of all the Microsoft community, I just found a really great place where I could just amplify others, encourage others in what they're doing, but also from that I was learning a lot myself. And I picked up so much for my own teaching, being part of these communities. And way back I used to say a couple of things. I kind of rather being the hero of the story, I'm kind of a guide and helping guide others, and then also sort of showing up, and the magic really happens when you show up and take part. And I've also then found it's like a well-being thing of interacting with others and acknowledge others, and that only not builds them up from the hard work they're doing, but also it's good for your own well-being, because you're putting yourself, you're humbling yourself a bit. So I had a fabulous time in the Microsoft community, and I become a Microsoft fellow as well, and we've had some great in-person events. We met up at the Microsoft store in Oxford Street once, and we all us grown-ups were playing Minecraft Education on one Saturday, and it was such a powerful moment, and some very great memories from that. And then since I'm involved with the Wakelet community, I'm involved with the now Canva community, and I think it really helps me in terms of my instruction, but it just really builds me up, and it's great to be around like-minded people like yourself, Namya.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, absolutely. That is indeed so powerful. Your journey as an MI expert, where your colleagues encouraged you to apply and demonstrating resilience, I believe, especially after not passing the first time, but then succeeding. That shows your resilience and that strength of never giving up. And being part of such communities has allowed you to amplify others' voices and, like you said, learn yourself a lot as well. And you mentioned the magic of showing up and helping others, which again will help you to learn a lot and will humble you. And again, congratulations on becoming a Microsoft Fellow and actively engaging with other communities. So it's clear that your involvement with the PLNs and communities have profoundly enhanced your instructional coaching approach by fostering both personal growth and community support. So indeed, really, really amazing. Thank you. Okay, so can you also share about your journey and what inspired you to become a Microsoft certified coach cohort in collaboration with ITOE? Oops, sorry, I think that
Oh
question
yeah,
came
sorry,
up
yeah,
again. Yeah, I forgot to remove
cut
it.
that one. That's all right.
It was the other one. I copy pasted the same one. Just a
No
second.
worries.
Yep. Okay. All right, so can you also share about some brief insights or examples of how AI is transforming education and what future possibilities excite you the most?
Yeah, so I mean, this has been talked about a lot, and I mean, I even just listened to your last podcast with Jenny, or the one before, Magic AI, and I loved hearing how it's saving teachers time up to 7 hours, she said, and I think so. That's how it started for me. So after pushing myself so much, and at the time, and I wanted you to meet my daughter today, but if she'd stayed here, we would have got this done. She's now 5, but at the time my daughter was 6-7 months old, and I was really pushing myself to improve things for my students, and yeah, it really took a toll on my energy levels. And so coming into sort of more of a normal world, I thought, how can I gain some of that time back? And for me, first of all, it was just automating things, with simple systems of sending out forms in multiple emails and Excel and Power Automate different things. So for then AI to come along, and it's got the ability to just, be an assistant, make things more simple. I really embraced it, and since it appeared, I've just done loads and loads of learning on it, actually, and loads of particularly on LinkedIn. There's a lot of courses on LinkedIn, and I've been really sort of building my skills in it, and I've just found I don't do nothing now without it, really. It's like my right arm, and here I'm looking at my Microsoft Edge browser, and I've got two little Copilot sort of logos in the corner that I often just click on if I need a little bit of assistance. And so yeah, that's another thing for me. It's just this assistant, and it knows natural language so well. So and I don't so much, I'm a bit of a dyslexic thinker, and I do struggle to put words and sentences together. So I find it just enhances my ideas, really. So I could be thinking something I want to say, or something I want to write. If I'm struggling to piece that together, I can just use my assistant just there on the side. And I think, but in that, you can be lazy and just use what it gives you. But I've do with my thinking, I also notice if people have been lazy with using their assistant. And I think, yeah, definitely I'll get its ideas, but then I'll still sort of edit and sort of bring what I actually want out of it. And then so it also, with the tasks as well, so it carries on with that. So it drafts emails and different things. That it automates tasks, and I know it does within these different platforms like Magic AI and the different school ones. I'm not quite dug deep into there, but hearing Jenny hear how it saves hours on student feedback and, you know, student or parent emails and letters and what was it, letters of recommendation. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I know you are yourself. A more practical one that I have used myself and actually demoed it a bit is within Microsoft Education, their insights, and that sort of uses AI power to give you data and in particular in Reflect and Reading Progress and all these different, and that's such a powerful tool right there and within Teams. And often when I'm training teachers or presenting at BET, you know, the teachers haven't really actually realized that there's such a powerful tool there, just using the power of AI to sort of give you data, to give you actionable insights to just improve learning, really. And then going on a bit more, I'm currently studying education. I'm doing a BA honours in education and professional development, and back sort of doing that level of study. It's been a learning curve itself, but I've been using AI as a tutor sometimes, and I ask it to teach me things I'm unsure of. I'll ask it what the latest research around things is, and then also after I finish my work, I use it as a writing mentor to sort of give me feedback on what I've done and maybe places I can improve. And another thing, so I do really use AI a lot, and I look forward to the day that everyone's using it in a responsible and a creative and an effective manner. But after a recent trip to Bristol, I went on a street art tour, and I was really inspired by the art. And in particular, do you know someone called Banksy? He's a UK sort of artist, and he's very satirical. And I was just so inspired by some of his artwork on this trip, and I actually used AI to sort of give me some ideas for satirical images I could create in Image Creator, and it really come up with some amazing examples. So, and I'd love to see that, you know, learners using it like that, because I think we're at a place where we talked a lot about AI, and people are still sort of on the edges, like, right, how do we start using it now, you know, with everyone? And I'd love to see that happen over the next few months or early years.
Absolutely. That is really fascinating. Like, after diving deeper into technology to assist your students, you began exploring automation, and that's wherein AI came in. So you develop your skills with tools like LinkedIn, and of course, then using assistants with Copilot and using it for your daily tasks, which enhances and gathers your ideas creatively. And I believe AI has been a game changer, totally agreeing with your thoughts, like drafting emails, saving hours in student and parent feedback, drafting LORs, and helping, completing your task efficiently with Microsoft Teams as well. Additionally, like you were talking about pursuing your BA, AI aids you in learning and providing valuable feedback as well. So also you're able to use tools like Image Creator by getting inspired by arts. And I think it's really excited to see how AI is transforming education and is really opening up new possibilities for efficiency and creativity. It's just how you use it. You want to, do hard work or smart work, and then how being creative, and you getting your idea there, and then AI is going to help you to refine it and making your workload less. And at the end of the day, you'd be feeling productive and not stressed.
100%.
Thank you. So, how do you see these tools transforming education? And like there's certain tools like Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft Learning Accelerators. So, what are some practical applications you found most effective regarding these tools?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, with the Copilot, and in particular, I've used other chat GPTs and different things, but because I'm sort of based in Microsoft Edge all the time, it is just that assistant, and I no longer use just search engines, because I'm just in there in Copilot, and I can have it kind of open on half a page, and yeah, just so efficient and practical to be able to do that, and with some of the enhanced features, it can even read your page, and it's just such a someone to it's almost not someone because it's AI, but it's something to bounce off of, and just really get that spark of creativity going without the like you say, the tedium and the pressure. And then another thing that's really stood out for me recently, in particular around the learning accelerators, from sort of demoing at BET, and also within the Microsoft expert community, I've been highlighting, say, a Microsoft Learn course, and I've made like a little video on it, what you'll learn about during the course, and I've covered a lot of the learning accelerators, but kind of a shout out to another podcastee that you've interviewed, and that was Mark Sparvel, and I love his podcast. Recently he had an amazing educator on called John Hattie, and he really stood out to me, and one thing he was saying about sort of technology and the future, and he said that and not exact quote, but he said, like, kids or young people, they'll create their own future, and it's kind of us as educators and teachers or guides to just sort of obviously have the tool there for them to use, but they're going to create their own futures with it. So it's our job to role model that well, and teach values and responsibility. So those other skills, rather than, because I find in education it's always like, we need to teach future skills, but I like what he said there. Young people will make their own future. Let's sort of give them just fundamental skills, and then just the tools to practice how they're going to make their own future. And I think the learning accelerators in particular do that. For example, reading progress. So the educator assign a passage to a student, and they can go home and read that passage in their own time, and it uses AI to listen to their voice and just give them feedback on their reading. And and I remember sharing it with my students once, and they're like, we can't read and they come back and they were really impressed. My percentage was this, and they were really impressed with how they could read. And I think that really stood out to me, because I also thought that, and also since being a teacher or an instructional coach, I've had to learn to talk like I am now to you, Namya, or present, and it's been the most toughest learning curve ever. And I don't remember having the opportunity to use Speaker Coach in education, and just learn how to speak, and have an AI telling me, oh, slow down or speed up, or don't keep saying or yeah. So why don't we build that in now? And then another thing on the learning accelerators is Reading Coach. Have you come across that yet? And that's the standalone AI powered reading feature, and shout out to whoever, all the program managers behind that. It's an amazing tool. But I actually use it with my daughter. And did you ever read sort of pick your own adventure books, where you're reading and you say turn to page? And it's just basically that, but with AI. And at the moment my daughter's only 5, and she's like, I hope it's a girl with a character. But it's just so awesome, and I'm slowly sort of using it with my daughter, and eventually she'll be able to use it on her own. But I've heard other sort of educators and parents say, "Oh, this has been just fantastic for my child who just lacked, so much confidence." So, yeah, so it kind of answers what I said in the first place about giving, young people these tools to sort of, because they're the best teachers, of themselves if you give them that opportunity. And then a step on for that, and this is my real big passion at the moment, is the design world and using AI for design. And so young people are content creators rather than so much in content consumers, but there's obviously a balance with that. But I think that's in a later question.
Really well said, like being content creators rather than the content consumers. And that's a really great insight that you mentioned, that Microsoft Copilot helps you with tasks by sparking creativity without the pressure. Like with tools like Microsoft Learn Course, kids are empowered to, create their own futures. And our role is to equip them with the necessary skills and tools to practice. So you found like different features with the Microsoft course, like speaking features, reading features, and incredibly effective in giving the youth the tools that they need. And such small steps will actually help them to understand the essence of AI and use it for the greater good. And additionally, like you also mentioned, that AI can help them use for designing as well, which can be transformative for the youth. So it's inspiring to see how these tools are revolutionizing education by making it more accessible. And again, it comes to the way they want to use it. We just have to give them the skills and how they have to use that skill as a tool to shape their future.
Mm.
Thank you. So I have a fun question to ask you. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Well, I've probably done tons of adventurous things, but you made me really think of a time when I was younger, and I actually travelled all the way to Bangladesh. So and I was only 16 or 17 at the time, and my friend's parents were working out there, and they invited me to come, and I was a real adventurer at the time. And yeah, I had an epic journey across to Russia at the time, and Moscow and airport. I mean, obviously you can't fly there now, obviously, but and I remember being in the airport, and it was so an amazing, unusual place. And then I travelled from there to Saudi Arabia, and then on to Bangladesh. And when I was there, I had an incredible time. And I'm glad you reminded me of such an adventure, because I've never travelled like I had then. And I remember going up, and it must have been, part of the Ganges, up around a place called maybe Shrimangal, from Dhaka. And yeah, there was it was like an old steamship, almost like a Mississippi steamship. And I remember sitting on the deck, and there was bottlenose dolphins coming out, and there was all these flowers floating in the water. Would that be from funerals, or it was just incredible, or memorials? And yeah, and then being an adventurer, me and my young colleague, we stayed at a tea plantation, and we decided to go for a walk for the tea plantations, and ended up in a village. And it was and yeah, it turns out we were really lost, and just thankfully we met up with some others and found our way back. But just looking back on that adventure, it was like almost you could make a Tintin movie out of it. It was just really incredible. So yeah, that was one of my great adventures of traveling. And I've heard you mention traveling on your podcast before.
Yep, it's my favorite thing. And listening to you, it's like I'm using the visual imagery, and I'm able to imagine all the things that you're trying to, portray from Moscow to Bangladesh. And I really like the fact of, tree plantations and, the flowers flowing in the river. That's absolutely amazing. And like, if I talk about myself, I recently did it a few days before. Like, I have always been scared of doing snorkeling. Another reason is why, because my eyesight is little high, it's 2.5. So I have always been scared that what if I'm not able to see underwater. But like during the first 15 days of June, I went to Thailand, and I was determined to break this fear of mine. So I did it, and to my surprise, it is the most adventurous thing I've ever done. And I wasn't scared, like in the water. There were people around us helping, so like I was glad I was able to overcome my fear, and I gladly was able to see stuff. It was not like it's too bloody, but the corals were really beautiful.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's just just one of your many adventures. And yeah, incredible you achieved that. I can imagine if we had this conversation, in 20 years' time, you'll have plenty of those Namya, because you are a very adventurous spirit.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, wrapping up today's discussion, looking ahead, what excites you the most about the future of technology?
Okay. Yeah, so it's back to that AI piece again, and so we talked about it. Everyone's seeing how powerful it is, but now everyone's on the edges of how we safely use that in classrooms, and currently, obviously, with Microsoft, it's over 18 for the Copilot with students, which is great. But then they're starting to sort of think about younger students, and one tool I have been using with Canva is the and so it aligns with a few things that I'm passionate about: design and AI and creativity, and back talking about those skills that it's good to equip students with, and being able to create their own content. And so that's what I'm sort of passionate about, seeing that in classrooms, in particular around creativity, I think, and content design. And I'm excited to see what teachers are doing this year. And I was in a training the other day, and I was doing a Canva training, and I was using Magic AI, and which is an image generator. And I showed them how I used the prompt, and I was saying, "What do you think? Can you use this with your learners?" And so we were still in around the conversations about, can we? Is it safe? And so it'd be really nice to see some clarity around that. I mean, here in the UK, we're now going into the summer, and then there'll be a new year starting. I think that's similar in other countries as well. So it'd be great if we could sort of iron that out, and in this new year, start seeing us use that in the classroom more and seeing examples of it. Because I heard another interesting fact, that not many actual educators are using AI, and they're a little scared to, and a bit like Jenny said, and yourself said last week, just sort of want small steps, to just try something, show up, try it, and see how it works out. That's what I'd love to see this year.
Truly, I absolutely agree with that. And it's really exciting. You mentioned about that AI holds tremendous power for the future, but it's crucial to use it safely. And that is the talk of the town, that indeed it's really powerful, but how do we use it for the greater good? And again, it's about, being enthusiastic about AI's role in fostering creativity and turning the youth into content creators and not the consumers. Of course, when you're consuming content, you'll get the inspiration to become a creator, but we have to focus on how we can become one. And the journey of becoming one is what we have to experience. And seeing AI, being used, utilized in classrooms, like you mentioned about a Canvas image generator, its highlight is potential. And you're talking about, how educators need to embrace and guide the safe and creative use of technologies, so they can unlock their fullest potential in education. And again, those small tiny steps are what they need to take so that they can reach to that fullest potential.
100%.
Thank you so much. And before we sign off for today's discussion, can you let us know where we can find you online, and what message would you like to give to the audience that is listening to us right now?
Well, just kind of I'll start with a message, and I'll kind of echo you there, Namya. And I wrote down what you mentioned in Jenny's show, and you wrote, the person who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. So my hope is like, if you hear this, you just decide to be one of those persons just to move a mountain, but make a start, with something. Go back and listen to Jenny talk about Magic AI, reach out to, or some of the other guests. Listen to Namya and get inspired by, how she brings people together. And so just make that step, show up, get involved, and you'll find it benefits your learners, but you'll also find it benefits you. You can find me mostly on LinkedIn and back to the content and consumer. So there is a balance, and I have to learn that myself with consuming and creating content, but I'm mostly on LinkedIn because it's less consuming and more creative, and I'm also on Twitter as well. But you'll see me around. And one thing about me is I am very social, so you will see me around. And I just want to thank you again, Namya, for inviting me. In you invited me, it made me relook at what you've done, and I listened back to some of your shows, and I loved the celebration show of 75 episodes with Andy and Miss Mariella, is it? Or that was awesome, and I really encourage others to go back and do that too.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine to have you on my podcast today. And today's discussion highlighted the transformative power of technology and AI in education. And we were able to emphasize the importance of embracing these tools creatively yet responsibly to empower both educators and students for a brighter future. So thank you so much, Sean. It was lovely talking to you, and I'm sure the audience enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, lovely talking to you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining and listening to this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each 10, have a nice day.